Hello, everyone. Today you'd be listening to Beauty and the Beast. A long time ago, there lived a merchant with his three daughters. He was a very rich man, and the family lived in a palatial home with all the comfort and luxury that money can buy. Now, all the merchant's daughters were pretty, but the two elder daughters were very bad tempered and rebellious. They spent the whole day quarreling and complaining, even though they had everything. As days went by, they became more and more bad tempered and started to lose their good looks. But the youngest daughter was completely different. She was quiet, sweet tempered, and helpful. She worked hard to make people happy and loved her father dearly. Even though she was not much prettier than her sisters, she looked more beautiful than they did. Her father affectionately called her Beauty, and the name stuck with her. One day, while the merchant was sitting down to eat breakfast with his daughters, a messenger came up to him with sad news. The ships that were on their way back from faraway lands filled with precious goods were sunk in the sea due to a heavy storm. As a result of this, the merchant lost all his wealth. They had to give up their palatial home and move into a small cottage in the countryside. The two elder daughters hated the hard times they were going through, but Beauty accepted their fate and hard times with patience and happiness. She was the only one to comfort her father. So, what if we are poor, father? We still have each other, and that is enough to remain happy. She took great joy in doing all the work at home. Her happiest moments were when she worked in a little kitchen garden. One day there was another messenger for the merchant. But this time, the messenger carried good news. The merchant's ships had not sunk in the storm. They had just been blown, of course. They were now docked in a harbor across the country. The merchant was to go immediately to claim his ships and the valuable cargo. As he set off on his long journey, the two elder daughters asked for lots of jewels and fine clothes. But Beauty only said, "Father, please bring me a pair of red roses. There are none in my little garden at home." After a long and tiring journey, the merchant was in for another rude shock because he could claim only his ships. All his valuable cargo had been stolen. This time the merchant was terribly affected. He felt sad and hopeless. On the way back home, the merchant saw a castle. In the castle was a rose garden. Remembering his promise to Beauty, he cut 2 roses from the garden. The next moment, the whole palace echoed with a deafening roar. Turning around, the merchant saw a huge beast. The creature had the face of a wild animal and the body of a man. "The punishment for stealing is death," roared the beast. The merchant went down on his knees in fear. "Please spare me. I plucked these roses for Beauty, my youngest daughter." The beast thought for a moment and said in a thunderous voice again, "Very well. You may go now, but you must come back here with Beauty, or else it will be death for your whole family." When the merchant got back home and narrated his story, they were horrified. But Beauty was willing to fulfill her father's promise to the terrible beast. Soon Beauty and her grief-stricken father started back to the beast's castle. At the gates of the castle, the merchant said goodbye to his daughter. When Beauty entered the castle, she was in for a surprise. The whole place was decorated wonderfully, and the beast was there to welcome her. Though she was quite afraid of him, he seemed gentle and kind. As the days went by, Beauty started to take a liking to the beast. Even though she heard his fierce cries and roars at night, during the day he was quite a gentleman with her. She had her own chamber and the very best of all things. She even had a magical mirror through which she could see her father and sisters in their little cottage far away. One day, the magic mirror showed Beauty that her father was very ill. The Beast allowed her to go home, but he said, "Take the mirror with you. If you do not come back in 30 days, I will die." Luckily for Beauty, her father recovered from his illness. The days at home were full of joy, and the 30 days flew by without Beauty realizing its passing. Suddenly, one day, she looked in the magic mirror and saw the Beast looking very ill. She remembered his words and rushed back to his castle. The place wore a deserted look. She called out to him and searched the whole castle. He was nowhere to be found. Then she went to their favorite spot, the rose garden, and there she saw the Beast stretched out on the ground, quite still and cold. She held him close, and tears flowed down her cheeks. "Why did you have to die, my Beast? Did you not know that I love you?" Beauty cried. There was a sudden flash of light, and the Beast was transformed into a young prince. He took Beauty in his arms and told her about the curse he had received from a wicked witch. Only the pure love of a selfless heart would break the spell. Beauty and the handsome prince were married. They lived happily ever after in the castle. The end. Hope you've enjoyed the story. Next time, I will be back with another story. Till then, goodbye.